So we've got, it's a little bit turbulent, the wind this afternoon. We talked about it, and I'm hoping we might see, as the week develops, it's swinging back round to a tail when we get some records. But now we've got the crews getting away cleanly. So this is the intermediate open Coxless Falls events. Leander and Tideway Scullers on the left. Oxford University's boat race blues. Will they be able to shake those boat race blues in this race? And they really have gone off like an absolute rocket, Julia. Look at that Oxford crew.
Yeah, Oxford crew, the blue boat members. I think all the crews are really trying to make a clear start. They're moving away. The water looks really bumpy, but seeing all those races so far, you can see that everyone's trying to get the advantage as soon as possible on the rough water, making sure you're strong, you're clean, no mistakes.
Yeah. Just picking up there, as you're saying, for keeping it clean, they're coming together a little bit. I hear the umpire warning. The Oxford crew does look like it's straight across. I think the umpire was warning them there, so just a danger zone. It's very, very common to see the crew on that side just move to the centre because they're so nervous as they come off the island about heading into these wooden booms. But Oxford have corrected, and that rocket start we saw, well, they seem to continue to be pulling out a little bit of a lead here.
Especially here when you don't have a cox, you need to really focus on that bow person who, in both, we have in Oxford, the steer is bowman, and Leander and Tideway Scullers School, we have a stroke who have the steering system. So it's really important to have that speed, because it is easier when the boat have a proper speed to steer it and to respond. And obviously all members of the crew are looking around to respond when they need, also with the pressure steering. But it's very tight, especially if you are going on such a high rate.
Well, as you talk and you question whether they've got a response already, Oxford University crew here, very, very strong start, and I notice how they're stretching out there under the lead of Felix Rawlinson, 24 years of age, sitting in the stroke seat. We saw in the boat race, didn't we? Oxford with a very sort of punchy, aggressive style, really contrasting with the long, languid, more fluid style of the Cambridge crew. And I think that aggressive style that these guys have had together has given them the platform for that launch into this race. You can see from the barrier, which is about 637 metres into the course, that the number 2 goes up for the Oxford lane, and Oxford established a really strong start. And well, have they got not quite half a length there as they pass the barrier. Let's see if that develops. These crews are now going to come alongside our beautiful camera shot, and you get a sense as they go past of the power and the rhythm of these crews.
Definitely, I do observe in Henley Royal Regatta that physical row, that strong row, especially from looking for all the crews, junior crews, university crews. Also because they are going against the stream. Obviously now we know the stream is not this strong, but it's something with Henley that you can see the more physical work than that fluid you observe in the world drawing competition and an elite. I think that physicality is really needed here.
Well, you're so right, aren't you? And I think we saw that as it went through, just noticing that the umpire warned Oxford again there, so they do need to keep a little bit of an eye on their steering, which is Nicholas Rusher in the bow seat there. And this shot's always a touch deceptive. It looks like they're kind of a bit closer than they are, but maybe Leander have now found a bit more rhythm. Was the explosive, physical, like you said, the really physical start from Oxford, has that been too expensive for them? They really wanted to take it to the Leander crew. Let's see what happens. Oxford, it's their first race today, by the way. They had a bye as the draw worked out for them, but Leander and Tideway Scullers, they had to beat Thames B yesterday, so not too hard a day of the office. And I do think that Leander seemed to have managed to hold on, and they seem to have found a bit of more pace, don't they?
We need to remember it is a long race. It's over 2K, and yes, it's great to have that open start, risky start, but then because it's so long, and we can tell that the second middle, the start restarts again. After that.
Sorry, just I'm cutting across you because I can really see that Leander move has brought them back from half a length down to, well, they gained maybe a seat or so here. So now the question is, does Oxford have the bandwidth to respond, or is this pace that we see from Leander, is that their mid-race pace and they're going to be faster through the middle?
And how long can we hold this response?
How long? That's the eternal question from rowing, isn't it?
And now we wait for how long they can call this response, how long Leander is back again. So we can see that shuffle going around both crews.
We talked about the quality of these crews. You've got a US Olympian, Nick Rusher in the bow seat, and Nicholas Cole from Italy, also an Olympian in the 2-seat of that Oxford crew. And look at this. Look at this. You couldn't get a closer race. It's almost as if you have to restart here. Bow ball for bow ball. And they're almost moving stroke for stroke, Julia, here. So how do you get into a more commanding position? I think Leander is starting to move through. Leander and Scullers here, edging 10 centimeters a stroke almost in the last 10 strokes.
Yeah, I'm just checking the rate of the both crews. So Leander's on 34 and really close Oxford to that. They now is like a proper battle, not only physically but mentally with both crews. They cannot look around too much. They just need to check with that corner of the eye, left and right, to see how far they are, how to respond. Also, there's, as we know, there's not a big communication in the boat. The whole communication goes through the stroke. Yeah. The pressure they are creating in the stroke. Yeah, but so now look at this move. You talk about the stroke there. I was just looking at Calvin Tarzi, the super experienced stroke man there of the Leander and Tideway Scullers crew. There he is. He looks down this course. This is a course he loves. I remember commentating on the 2018 St. Paul's School final where they broke the record by, I think, 11 seconds. We'll see whether records are broken on Sunday here, but Calvin was at the heart of that crew, and we've seen him in some great crews. Alongside him, Harry Geffen, Cameron Bakey and Tristan Wenger in that Leander and Scullers School crew, just checking out the faces of Oxford. Unfortunately, the Blues from Oxford, who picked up the Blues in the boat race, devastated by Cambridge. Well, it's not their day at the office today, and Nicholas Rusher, Nicholas Cole, Tassilo von Müller in a 3-seat, and Felix Rawlinson. Well, it's too late for them now. That Leander crew, really strong move. You called it absolutely right, Julio. You saw that mid-race pace. They really executed the race beautifully, like in the books. Yeah, and we've seen a number of races today where the lead has changed, actually. It's interesting as you get closer, it becomes much more sort of tactical. I think Oxford, we saw it from the rocket start. They were expensive on the start, but Leander had that mid-race pace, just confirming our result there in the visitors. It's a win for Leander and Tideway Scullers over Oxford University.